Welcome to Blue Talk episode 2.
Hey, I'm Cool Blue.
Lady Blue.
And like she said, this is Blue Talk episode 2, and we're speaking on the topic of black love tonight. So, would you like to kick it off? Or?
Yes, so the first part of black love we're going to talk about is self-love. So, loving oneself, especially when it comes to your skin. I feel like with African Americans, we're kind of pitted against each other when it comes to colorism, whether someone's lighter or darker, or having a preference, which it really don't matter. Like, we're beautiful no matter what. And what are some things you wanted to speak on?
Me in more particular, outside of the skin color, I'm about to say, which is extremely important nowadays, love of oneself and love of one's race. A lot of times you find that when it comes to self-love in general, people hate themselves. As a matter of fact, we just watched a video last night about how was it a secret video where like certain blacks wanted to be white and like
it was on a YouTube channel called Jubilee. But basically people wrote in their secrets about race, and a lot of people, especially African Americans, were saying how they wish they were white just so they could defeat the so they don't have to be bothered with the negative stereotypes. And you know what's being portrayed out in the media. And I think that's sad because we're more than one dimensional, and there's so many beautiful shades, colors of us. Why?
And you know, like it makes me upset. But it's like, it's also like a sign of the times, because, you know, you hear it so often that you kind of become blind to it to a degree, and people don't necessarily take it into consideration. They think that it's not on a broader scale than what it's actually on. So that, you know, it has to be brought to the forefront so that people actually not only know, but actually care about what's taking place. But that's another topic for another day.
Yeah, definitely. The next thing we want to talk about when it comes to black love is culture.
Culture, and being proud of your culture and things of that nature. And when we speak on culture and when we speak on pride, it's, you know, a lot of times we hear about things that, or at least me, like when I go through social media, Facebook, Instagram, yada, yada, a lot of times you hear people say, well, my parents did this a certain way, my parents did that a certain way, or like, we don't necessarily know our roots. And it's like, my thing that I want to kind of build on myself is that I want to create traditions within my own household and within my own family. And, you know, like, something that you can kind of be proud of, you know, like, for example, take more pictures, you know, when you go out with your family, like when it's holidays and things like that, like, you know, make stuff up, you know, that you want to do, or like, you know, certain games or certain, you know, like festivals and things like that. Like, be a part of things outside of what you deal with every day, you know, like, be proud of your heritage, you know, like, read books, delve a little deeper, know your history. And, you know, like, and a lot of times people just say, well, you know, like, we not diving deep enough into books and whatever the case may be. But if you don't read, you're not gonna.
Yeah, most knowledge is hidden in books, and I'm guilty of not always wanting to read, but it's definitely essential. To add on culture, I was going to say, ask your elders why they instill certain things in you. Like, why certain rules are so important, or why is it that, you know, grandma or mom always repeat a phrase over and over and over again? Because it could be like that is a family tradition, a way of building culture. And I mean, honestly enough, the American black culture is just so vibrant. Like, our roots and our hands have been in so many things, many genres of music developing, like street lights and ironing boards and things like that. Like, the knowledge is out there for things that you could be proud of. Like, just, you gotta dig deep. So don't let what's showed in the media defect or be like, oh, I'm not proud of hip-hop culture or whatever else. But hip-hop culture has changed a lot when it comes to legislation.
I get
legislation and what you get what I'm saying. Like, laws and things like that. So it's controversial, but it definitely helped push a lot of history forward, and it's doing a lot of historical things now. Just think, in 30 years, you can talk to your kids about, I watched Beyonce and Jay-Z become billionaires. I was alive when Oprah launched her own magazine with her face on it every cover.
You know what? Not only that, I'm about to say, like, my grandmother owned her own business.
Yeah.
And literally until she became bedridden, like, I'm about to say, she didn't end up being
daycare provider.
I'm about to say, like, she wasn't a millionaire.
The candy lady.
Yeah. So
the Avon lady, like, you just think about it. The seamstress, the lady who make prom dresses at her house, they are all business people. No, it may not be a brick and mortar or a storefront, but they are all business people to be proud of. And just know, like, no, it wasn't their main job, but it brought in something. And like I said, daycare providers, like, there's so many of them. Like, shout them out.
No, I hear what you're saying. I'm about to say, like I said, not even to piggyback off of what you saying, but it's like I was saying, to kind of, go back to my grandmother, even my grandfather. Like my grandfather, used to kind of go around and like remove junk, and like he had a truck where he just used to haul stuff off to the yard and like do like plumbing and roofing and stuff like that when he was younger. And family members, like I said, in my family, like we have people who like do all types of stuff outside of their 9 to 5s that don't necessarily get, that type of recognition, and in your family as well, and all other families across the city. But, just to kind of, piggyback off of what you were saying a bit.
And then, I guess since from culture, we'll just move on to relationships.
I'm about to say, and this is pretty much like I won't even say a touchy subject, but like it's being portrayed a certain way throughout media that like that black love isn't necessarily prevalent, or it isn't necessarily as prevalent in like on the relationship tip. It's like it's black men chasing other races, and it's like it's not necessarily them, desiring other women, like, and that in itself, I know plenty of black couples and, people that are like, getting married and, starting families, our age, like, so, but yeah, I'll leave the floor to you. Sorry about that.
Oh no, I definitely agree. Like, I feel like this new wave of black love, like, that everybody is champion, whether it's Remy and Papoose, Jay-Z, Beyonce, whoever you look up to, like Viola and her husband. I think it's a beautiful thing because, like, I hate to blame media or what's portrayed in movies and stuff, but unfortunately, they're not showing that black love exists. Like, not all guys, when they get on, they run to a different race. And this is coming from somebody who comes from an interracial family. Like I have people in my family who have married outside the race, and I love them all the same and definitely don't look down on their love. But it's just a problem when people are champion one race over all others, or like, oh, this is my preference because of stereotype, which is
well, like I said, my thing is, even what you saying with that, like kind of what we talked about even prior to us doing this, was that like normally when you see the commercials, it's either like a white male with a black female, or like, or vice versa. And it's like, or like how you were saying, like as far as like certain ways it's being like portrayed in media, it's like you never see the black girl with like the braids or like whatever the case may be, and if it is, she's normally like doing something that's you know what I mean? Like it's not attached to anything positive. It's always them like attached to somebody like screaming, yelling, or it's like the angry black woman, type scenario that they've dug into the ground a million times over. But like it's never anything, on a positive level. It's like you kind of got to put it in their face like a Viola Davis before you kind of get the message. And even still with that, like she's on the show where she has to be like the protect her, like, but she has to be an alcoholic. You know what I mean? Like, it's like
instead of just being a boss.
But instead of just being a boss, it has to be something that's, you know, like tied into it. So it's like, you know, like.
Yeah, it's a ton of black love. Like, and even if you don't see it within your own family, just know, like, your friend that has her parents that's been together for 30 years and she finds them annoying, she is highly blessed and grateful, you know,
Exactly.
or he or she. Like, even just thinking about, like, the narrative of black fathers, like, it's so many black fathers who love their kids, and I see it up and down my timeline. I see it with my friends, like, I see it with family. Like, let's just embrace the narrative of just, we are happy.
Positive black love.
Yeah, just positive black love. Like, not no, oh, I had to go through 50,000 tests and me being ran through the dirt to show that I was riding down. Like, love is not that. That is not love. That is just someone neglecting to change their ways and abuse. Like, love is love. Like,
yeah,
it makes you feel good. Like,
that's you about to say, but like, and my apologies for you, but it's like a lot of times people confuse abuse with love. So it becomes a thing of where it's like you take so much abuse over a period of time where you mistakenly say, okay, well, that person must love me if he's giving me this, or he or she is giving me this type of hardship or pain or suffering, whether it's physical or mental. And it's like a lot of times that abuse is, you know, like I said, deflected for love, or it's mistaken for love, not deflected, but mistaken for love. So, bless you.
Excuse me, y'all.
Bless you.
Yeah, but you definitely see so many positive images, and there's so many people who love their spouse and get butterflies when they see him still. Like, even your parents or grandparents that still argue, like, they still love each other.
Yeah.
Granted, man, we not promote arguing, but you know, after you've been together, I guess 30 plus years, you got a right to just argue with your spouse. But yeah, like, just know it's positive images of black love everywhere. Like, embrace self-love with black love, embrace your culture with black love, and embrace the relationships, the positive relationships.
Yeah, not the toxic.
Not the toxic.
I'm about to say, because and that's another thing, before we go, I'm about to say, that's another thing, like, a lot of toxic relationships are being, like, championed nowadays, like, which is beyond crazy to me. Like, you gotta be the couple that's in the mall arguing with one another, or you gotta be the one going back and forth on, like, Instagram or Facebook in order to show to everybody that you love her or you love him. Like, a lot of that stuff just it definitely needs to stop. That's just my personal opinion. Like I said, I'm not speaking for the both of us. That's just me. Like, and I see it sometimes, and it's like, a lot of times people feel like that's the way that all black households are ran, and it's not. So,
yeah, one of us don't represent all of us, but embrace who you are, because, I mean, we're dope. Like,
very much so.
And this is no knock to nobody else or nobody's culture or anything. This is just to help people embrace who they are instead of being embarrassed.
But you know what though? We shouldn't even have to put out that disclaimer, because it's like every other culture embraces their culture and they uplift their culture. So it's like, at the end of the day, I'm not necessarily, you know, knocking what you're doing, but it's like, we shouldn't even have to put out that type of disclaimer. It's like every time black people defend black people, it's like, okay, yeah, but disclaimer, we're not saying anything is wrong with other races, or we're not saying that you can't uplift. It's like, we should be able to do that without having to put out the disclaimer to say, oh yeah, by the way, we're not, you know, like, that's, like I said, just me harping.
Right. No, I got you. Well, we're going to end it there. You enjoy your week, your evening, your day, everything. We love you.
I like you.
And was there anything else you wanted to say, Cool Blue?
Oh, of course. I'm about to say, shout out to everybody who attended Philadelphia Fashion Week. I'm about to say, we never had a chance to recap on that, but
oh yeah, well, we ran a little over our time. Did you want to recap it this one, or you want to save it for the next one?
I guess we'll do a recap video and
All
just
right.
kind of like go over, because like I said, we did a photo shoot today too, so like we'll just kind of recap everything, afterwards and just whatever.
We might sneak that out before next week. We might sneak that out before next
week.
Monday.
Yeah. But y'all know the wave. I'm about to say, this is Cool Blue,
Lady Blue.
and this has been Blue Talk.
Love you.